Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Eaton360 Folktale to enjoy the best folktale stories. Titi's story continues. Her life, the path of a young maiden, is never straight. Now the question that lingers in every heart is this: what will be the next step in the life of this beautiful girl, Titi, whose eyes once sparkled with dreams and whose laughter once filled her mother's kitchen? Or has she made a mistake by keeping her pain in silence, hiding the truth from those who love her most? Or will she find the strength to open her heart before the weight of her secret becomes too heavy to bear? Will William, the one whose name still troubles her thoughts, come forward with courage and take responsibility for his actions? Or will her friends, those who stood beside her in the classroom and in the market, be the ones to guide her through this storm? Sometimes destiny waits quietly at the corner, watching the choices we make. And for Titi, the days ahead will decide if her silence becomes her downfall or her strength. Her journey has only begun, and the drum of fate is still beating softly in the distance. The young, ambitious girl longs to move forward, to chase her dreams and leave the past behind. But her mind is crowded with worries, thoughts she cannot easily escape. And now, the issue of pregnancy stands like a heavy stone on her path, an obstacle holding her down when all she wants is to rise again. She met with Debbie, her closest friend, the one she had always trusted with her deepest secrets. With a trembling voice, Titi sought her advice, hoping to find direction for the next step in her troubled journey. Debbie listened carefully, her face filled with concern. Then she asked softly, "Have you told your parents about it?" Titi lowered her eyes and whispered, "No, not yet." After a long silence, Debbie sighed and said, "Then the best thing to do is to face William. He must know what he has done, and together you must find a way out of this mess." They arrived at Debbie's house and sat down to discuss their plan on how to confront William. Titi was determined this time. She knew William could never deny what had happened. He knew exactly what he did, and if he tried to pretend otherwise, it would only make things worse for him. Because when the time came for her to speak up and report the incident to the proper authorities, the truth would surely rise against him. That day, they went straight to William's house. Luck was on their side. William was at home. When confronted, he did not deny forcing himself on Titi, but his words cut even deeper. He shamelessly claimed that Titi must have been with other men since that day, and that the pregnancy might not be his. Debbie's anger rose like fire. She could not believe the audacity in his voice. The argument grew heated, voices clashing, emotions burning, until Titi, in tears, pulled Debbie away. They left William's house that day, hearts heavy and spirits wounded, but determined that the truth would not die in silence. That night, Titi could not sleep. She lay on her bed, staring at the ceiling as fear and worry filled her heart. Her body had begun to show the signs she dreaded, the symptoms she could no longer ignore. If her parents found out, everything would fall apart. She was lost in confusion, her mind heavy with thoughts she could not share with anyone. Tears rolled down her cheeks as questions flooded her heart. What should I do? Where can I go? Who will help me now? The examination results would soon be released, and she had once dreamed of wearing a nurse's uniform, of making her parents proud. But now, the thought of pregnancy stood before her like a locked gate, threatening to close the path to her future. After a long and painful night of thinking, Titi made a decision, one born out of fear, confusion, and desperation. She decided to end the pregnancy. In her young heart, she believed that was the only way to erase the past and begin again. Only Debbie knew her secret, and she trusted her completely. William, she thought, would be relieved and would have no reason to speak about it. To Titi, it felt like the quickest way to silence the storm, though deep inside, a quiet voice kept asking if this was truly the right path. And another voice kept telling her to inform her parent about all the situation. But she already made her decision. The next morning, Titi woke up early, her heart heavy but her mind made up. She dressed quietly and told her mother she was going to Debbie's place, hiding the fear behind a faint smile. With trembling hands, she left the house and headed straight to the doctor's clinic. She wanted to get it over with quickly, to end the pain and return home before anyone suspected a thing. The doctor assured her that everything would be fine. He told her it was a simple procedure, that she only needed to rest for a few minutes afterward before going home. But as Titi sat there, waiting for what she believed would bring her peace, she had no idea her life was about to change forever. After making the payment and signing all the necessary papers, the doctor began the procedure, following what should have been a simple routine. But in Titi's case, things were not as easy as expected. The position of the baby made the process more complicated, and soon the doctor realized it would take longer than usual. Beads of sweat formed on his forehead as he worked carefully, making sure everything was done properly. What was meant to take just an hour stretched into several long, tense hours. At last, the doctor finished the operation and sighed in relief. Titi, though weak and pale, insisted on leaving as soon as possible. She was worried about the time and didn't want her mother to suspect anything. The doctor advised her to rest, to avoid stress and allow her body to recover. But Titi only nodded quietly before walking out of the hospital, unaware of what lay ahead. After leaving the hospital, Titi went straight to Debbie's house, hoping to rest for a while before returning home. She hadn't told Debbie about what she had just done, not even a word. Debbie noticed something was wrong. Titi looked pale and weak, her voice barely above a whisper. But she assumed it was just the weight of everything Titi had been going through, so she decided not to press her with questions. Debbie tried to start a conversation to lighten the mood, but Titi managed only a faint smile. "I just want to rest a little," she said softly. "Let me take a nap before I go home." Debbie nodded in understanding and quietly let her friend lie down, unaware of the storm silently rising inside Titi's fragile body. Debbie stood up to check the food she had been cooking before Titi arrived, leaving her friend alone in the living room. Titi sat quietly, too weak to move, her body heavy with exhaustion. She didn't realize that she had begun to bleed, the color of life slowly leaving her without her knowing. When Debbie returned, her eyes caught something on the chair, a dark red stain spreading across Titi's gown. Her heart skipped. For a moment she froze, confused and frightened. Then panic set in. She rushed to Titi's side, calling her name, trying to wake her fully. Titi was still conscious, but her voice was faint and trembling. Without wasting time, Debbie ran out, shouting for help. The neighbors came quickly, alarmed by her cries, and together they carried Titi to the nearest hospital. Debbie's hands shook as she prayed silently that her friend would make it, that they weren't already too late. The men were truly helpful. They moved quickly and made sure Titi got to the hospital before it was too late. As soon as they arrived, the nurses rushed out with a stretcher, their faces filled with urgency. They helped lift Titi gently and wheeled her straight into the emergency room, calling for the doctor to come at once.
Help her.
Debbie stood by the doorway, trembling and praying under her breath, hoping her friend would survive the night. When the news reached Titi's parents, they were shocked and confused. They could hardly believe what they were hearing. Never in their lives did they imagine such a story could be about their own daughter. Without a second thought, they abandoned everything they were doing and hurried to the hospital, hearts pounding with fear. On the way, they prayed silently, tears filling their eyes, begging God to spare their daughter's life and make everything turn out well. When they arrived at the hospital, Titi's parents asked for the emergency unit and hurried there. They sat quietly in front of the door, waiting, eyes fixed on every nurse that passed, hoping the doctor would come out with good news. Hours went by slowly. Each minute felt like a lifetime. They prayed in silence, their hearts heavy with fear and confusion. How could this have happened? Titi was always at home, focused on her studies. She was never the kind of girl to roam around or keep bad company. Her mother's hands trembled as she wiped her tears, glancing around the corridor, hoping to find Debbie, the only friend who might know what really happened. She needed answers. But more than anything, she needed to see her daughter alive. As they say, gossip travels faster than the wind, and soon, word spread across the neighborhood. People were whispering that Titi had been rushed to the hospital, bleeding heavily at Debbie's house, and that it was because of an abortion. When William heard the news, fear gripped his heart. His hands began to shake as his mind raced through every possible outcome. He knew the truth, and he also knew that if anything happened to Titi, Debbie would not keep silent. She had seen too much, and she would surely tell Titi's parents everything about what had happened between them. William looked around nervously, watching every knock on the door, every passing face, wondering if someone was already coming for him. The guilt he tried to hide was now closing in like a shadow he could no longer escape. William was deeply troubled. Fear and regret battled within him. He knew the weight of his offense, the kind of sin that could destroy not just his name, but his entire family's reputation. In the eyes of the community, he was standing on a thin, cracking line. He could already imagine the disappointment in his parents' faces if they ever found out what had truly happened between him and Titi. Panic set in. His heart raced as thoughts collided in his mind. He couldn't think clearly, but one thing was certain. He had to act fast. Without wasting time, he went into his room, pulled out a bag, and began packing his clothes with trembling hands. He had made up his mind. He would leave town before it was too late, before the truth caught up with him and everything fell apart. William ran through the dusty streets with his bag clutched tightly in his hand, his heart pounding with fear and guilt. He headed straight to the motor park, desperate to catch the next bus leaving town. His mind was fixed on one destination, Lagos. That was where he had lived before, and he believed it was the only place he could disappear without being found. Lagos was big, crowded, and noisy, the perfect place to hide from the whispers and the shame that were already spreading. He hoped to reconnect with his friends from the university, the ones who weren't from his town and knew nothing about his life back home. His plan was to stay with them and hide everything that had happened. In his mind, Lagos was his only escape, a place where he could start over and pretend the past never existed. He believed he had already destroyed any chance of returning to his community or ever being respected the way he once was. Now, the love and respect the entire town once had for him was slipping away, all because of his own lack of discipline. He could only hope his mother would survive the shame when the news finally broke and the whole community began to talk. And the doctor, with tired eyes, fights to pull Titi back from the edge, back to life. But while Titi struggles for survival, William is on the run, his guilt chasing him faster than any bus can carry. Will he really escape to Lagos and hide forever? Or will the truth find him one day, as it always does? And what of his parents left behind in the community? Will they bear the shame or face the law in his place? Titi lies in the hospital, between life and death, fighting for breath over an incident she never wished for. An innocent girl whose only dream was to study hard and become a nurse, now prays silently for another chance. A chance to live, to rise, and to start again from where her life was paused. Her parents wait outside, their hearts trembling with fear and hope. Debbie can't stop crying, blaming herself for not doing more. But deep inside her, she knew that if anything happened to Titi, she would have no choice but to find a way to track down William with the little information she had about him. She also realized she could no longer hide the truth from Titi's mother. And if she tried, it would only create more problems for her as well. Now she knew no one would believe her if she said she knew nothing about Titi going for an abortion, even though all she ever knew was that Titi was pregnant. She felt lost, unsure of what to do or say. The only thing she wished for, more than anything else, was for Titi to recover, stand on her feet again, and return to her normal self. Debbie sat in the hallway, praying silently and holding on to every bit of faith she had. She kept her eyes fixed on the theater doors, hoping the doctor and nurses would come out with good news, news that Titi would survive. The story is far from over. To know what becomes of Titi, of William, and of the truth that cannot stay buried, follow us on our social media pages and stay tuned for the concluding part of this touching folktale and many more powerful stories that remind us that every secret has its day in the sun. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Eaton360 Folktale to enjoy the best folktale stories.